2025 for Pokemon investing was intense. But what is going to happen for the future? Are we destined to see the Pokemon Company print every booster box into absolute oblivion, crashing the market? Or will they continue to ignore us and only reprint prismatic ETBs for the next 75 years? So the question is, market go up or market go down? That's the question for this video. Where is the Pokemon investing market headed for the year 2026? Let's find out. What's going on, guys? My name is Riley, aka Pokemon Trader. I'm a collector and investor. I've been doing it for the past 12 years, since 2014 or so, and I've been doing it longer than 99% of other people in the space. So if you guys appreciate what I'm doing, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I know 95% of you are not subscribers, so subscribe. And if you do, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be ripping this Evolving Skies booster box live on this channel. So give me a like and subscribe. For those of you who are new to this channel, which is most of you because I really only started posting consistently about a month ago, I started back in 2014 or so. So this is the third boom and bust cycle that I've been through. We are currently amidst the third boom. We haven't quite gotten to the crash part yet. And without overhyping the doom and gloom, there will be a correction or a crash at some point. That's not to scare you away from investing. Pokemon is still a great investment, but it's just to say that it's not all daisies and rainbows forever. There will be volatility and there will be a crash, especially in the short term. So with my history in the hobby, I've seen how things go each time, and there are certainly differences each time, but there are a lot of aspects that are similar every time. A lot of the same things happen each time. And it's one thing to watch videos or just read online about how the past Pokemon investment booms happen, but it's another thing to actually be there, witness it, and be holding product while it's happening. So let's cover what is going to happen in 2026 and stick around to the end where I will cover a few sets that I believe are going to be really good pickups in the year 2026 and over the next few years. Let's start with where the market is headed based on where we've been and where we're at right now. Where we're at right now is that demand still remains at all-time highs. It is impossible to get any new Pokemon set that comes out. If you try to go pick up new product at Walmart or Target, you're likely going to find that all of the shelves are completely empty. You won't be able to find anything. Likewise, if you try to catch a Pokemon Center drop or even a Costco drop, chances are you're going to find the same thing. There's nothing there. So likely this is going to change at some point. Inevitably, investors and collectors and dirty scalpers get fed up with not being able to get any product and having minimal gains when they flip a product. So give Pokemon Company enough time to come out with some bad sets, and this will inevitably happen. But right now, that's not the case. So currently, product is still flying off the shelves, which is a good sign that the scalpers are still Pokemon maxing. So the market appears to continue to be moving upward, but is that going to continue for the rest of the year? Well, for 2026, sadly, I don't see product availability getting any better. The Pokemon Company International already announced in early 2025 that they were going to start printing at max capacity, pretty much starting with prismatic evolutions. Now, the Pokemon Company does have new warehouses coming online through the Millennium Print Group, and it's a substantial amount of printing capacity, up to, I believe it was over 1 million square foot of warehouse printing space. But that's not going to come online until late 2027 or more than likely 2028. So for the rest of the year, I foresee product availability remaining the same. It's going to be impossible to get, especially for any good set. And especially if Pokemon continues to do the waived releases like what they're doing with Ascended Heroes. And if you don't know, this is the newest set that just came out, and what Pokemon Company decided to do with it is do a waived release, which means on its official release date, which was just a few days ago, all that they released were 2-pack blisters. And then at the end of February, February 20th, I believe, they will release ETBs and bundles, and then another release after that about a month later. So if the Pokemon Company continues to do that, product availability is just shot. But there is a little glimmer of hope. We have two things coming up that historically have always projected the Pokemon investing market upward. Number one, tax return season in the United States is coming up. Usually late February, March, people start to get their tax returns, and what do people want to do with it? Buy Pokemon. And about the same time, February 27th is Pokemon Day. The Pokemon Company is expected to make their announcement about the 30th year anniversary set for Pokemon. Every 5 years they do this. They did it in the 20th anniversary, 25th, and now the 30th. And each time they do, there is a lot of hype surrounding it. So I expect the prices for hyper-modern Pokemon sets to remain going well above MSRP for the rest of the year. But what about the older sets? Let's say Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, or even vintage WotC era sets. Well, we just came out of a small dip at the end of October and November. Most sealed Pokemon dropped anywhere from 10 to 25% or so. And the market was understandably scared at the time, but it's clear now that was short-lived. All of the Sword and Shield sets, as well as many others that had taken about a 20% downturn, instantly rebounded beginning in December, and many of which are already at their all-time highs, surpassing their previous all-time high. So from everything I can see in my history in the hobby and investing space, gains will likely be moderate compared to 2025, but much more aggressive than 2024. The next question, of course, is which sets are poised for the biggest jumps? Well, we know that eventually product availability will stabilize, demand will wane, and you'll be able to get new sets at reasonable prices. But as I mentioned before, that's likely not going to happen in 2026, but much more likely in late 2027 or even 28. But in the meantime, some sets will do really well and some won't. So the question is, which sets are going to make it easiest for you to double your money and be the safest investment, the least risky, where you will not lose money? And remember, not losing money is a viable investing strategy for Pokemon investing. If you can hold more than everyone else and longer than everyone else, you won't lose money. So for 2026, I see the biggest steps up coming from the modern out-of-print sets. So that would be sets like Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, maybe even like Black and White or X and Y, but specifically the first two. Now, all of these booster boxes from Sword and Shield or Sun and Moon are incredibly expensive already, but some still look like they have room to grow for 2026. Sets like Lost Origin, Fusion Strike, or Evolving Skies seem to have already gotten a lot of the growth that they're going to have for 2026. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't continue to grow. I'm sure they will, but there are other sets that might do better than those. And those are still within the Sword and Shield block. Sets like Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars, and Chilling Reign. All of these booster boxes are around $500 currently. Now, there's a lot of movement in the market, so sometimes they jump up really fast and then they come back down a little bit, but in general, you can expect them all to be right around that $500 to $600 mark. Now, of course, that is a pretty penny for a single booster box, but these sets are seriously good sets. I mean, just take a look at the Silver Tempest set value. You have the Lugia, Chase card, and all of the other beautiful cards that follow that up. I actually prefer this to Chilling Reign and Brilliant Stars for that matter, just simply because of the Lugia. I think it is a top tier Pokemon that is going to do well over time. So those are a couple of the sets that I would recommend picking up, but there are other sets that you can pick up also, not in the Sword and Shield era. Some of the older Scarlet and Violet era sets are going out of print this spring, and with that always comes a rise in price. When the market realizes, oh, there are no more restocks, there are no more reprints of these sets, everybody starts wanting those sets. So a couple of those, if you can find them at a good deal, would be 151 or Paldea Evolved. But while the upside for these sets seems to be great, 2026 isn't going to be risk-free. We've already seen a shaky economy with the new Fed chair coming in. Things like crypto, silver and gold are tanking, and other stocks are likely also going to see a hit. We also know that Pokemon Company historically has printed booster boxes when a booster box rises too fast in price. Now, this time around, they seem to be shying away from that. We've seen very little, if any at all, booster box reprints. The last one we had of any substantial size was Surging Sparks almost a year ago. And since then, Pokemon has clearly just focused on printing those smaller SKUs. And I think the reason the Pokemon Company is doing this is just simply to get more product out in more hands as possible. And of course, the fewer booster boxes you buy and the more SKUs with less booster packs you buy, the more